Have you ever wondered why some men win power but lose peace, while others keep peace but lose influence? Why one path teaches you how to control people, and the other teaches you how to control yourself? Today, I want to show you the real psychological battle that almost no one talks about. Machiavelli versus Stoicism, not as philosophy, not as history, but as two completely different survival strategies for your life, your career, your relationships, and your emotional power. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button and watch this video until the end, because this one can quietly change how you move through the world. Who really was Machiavelli? Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli did not write about morality. He wrote about reality. He lived in a brutal political world where friends betrayed you, allies disappeared overnight. Power changed hands through deception, not honesty. His most famous work, The Prince, is not a guide to becoming evil. It is a guide to surviving a world that already is. Machiavelli observed one painful truth. People are not loyal to you. They are loyal to how you make them feel and what they can gain. He noticed something most men refuse to accept. Human beings do not respond to virtue first. They respond to advantage first. To fear, to reward, to status, to power. And this is where his thinking becomes dangerous, but also brutally useful. Because Machiavelli teaches you how to read the real emotional behavior of people, not what they say, not what they post, not what they promise, but how they actually act when their comfort is threatened. What Machiavelli really teaches you. Machiavelli never said, "Be cruel for fun." He said something far more uncomfortable. If you want to survive leadership, relationships, and social competition, you must understand that people will leave you when your usefulness ends. People will praise you while planning alternatives. People will respect strength more than kindness. So his strategy is simple. Control outcomes. Control perception. Control positioning. In Machiavellian psychology, being loved is unstable. Being respected is conditional. But being needed and feared just enough is reliable. This is why many modern men secretly follow Machiavelli without knowing it. In business, in social media influence, in dating, in networking, they do not ask, "Am I being morally perfect?" They ask, "Does this move improve my position?" But here is the hidden cost. Machiavelli teaches you how to manage others.
He does not teach you how to manage yourself.
And this is where Stoicism enters the battlefield. The Stoic path, the inner empire. At the heart of Stoicism stands one of the most powerful men who ever lived. Marcus Aurelius. He ruled an empire. He commanded armies. He controlled cities. Yet his private writings, later collected as meditations, reveal something deeply different from Machiavelli. Marcus Aurelius was not trying to control people. He was trying to control his own mind. Stoicism does not ask, "How do I dominate the situation?" It asks, "How do I remain unbroken by the situation?" This is the core of Stoic psychology. You do not own outcomes. You do not own other people. You do not own reputation. You only own your judgments, your behavior, your emotional responses, and this is not weakness. It is emotional sovereignty. What Stoicism actually teaches you. Stoicism trains one skill above all, the ability to stay internally stable when life becomes unstable. A Stoic does not collapse when a woman loses interest, a deal fails, a friend betrays him, a reputation is attacked, a plan collapses, because he was never emotionally dependent on external control. This is why Stoicism fits your channel so naturally, Sonu. Your audience is not looking for tricks. They are looking for emotional independence. Stoicism gives them exactly that. But Stoicism has a limitation. It protects your peace. It does not protect your position. The real psychological conflict. Here's the conflict no one tells you about. Machiavelli teaches you how to win the game. Stoicism teaches you how to survive the game. Machiavelli trains your strategic mind. Stoicism trains your emotional nervous system. And here is the uncomfortable truth. If you live only as a Stoic in a competitive world, you may remain calm, but you may also remain powerless. And if you live only as a Machiavellian, you may rise quickly, but your inner world becomes permanently tense. You are always scanning, always calculating, always protecting, always managing perception. That stress accumulates. Silently, dating, attraction, and emotional power. Let's bring this into the real world. The world your audience actually lives in. In modern dating, A Machiavellian man studies timing, scarcity, positioning, emotional leverage. He understands when to pull back, when to remain unavailable, when to stop explaining, when to stop chasing. This works because attraction does respond to emotional leadership. But here is where Machiavelli becomes dangerous for men emotionally. If your sense of worth becomes tied to how effectively you manipulate outcomes, you lose emotional safety. Your confidence becomes conditional. Your calm depends on her replies. Your stability depends on her behavior. A Stoic man moves differently. He does not try to regulate her emotions. He regulates his own nervous system. He does not chase closure. He does not demand consistency. He does not beg for clarity. He simply observes behavior and adjusts his presence. And this creates something far more powerful than manipulation. Psychological gravity, leadership and career too. Very different paths. In your digital marketing world, Sanu, this distinction becomes even sharper. Machiavellian leadership focuses on influence, narrative control, strategic positioning, power alliances, visibility. This is how many fast-growing brands and personal figures actually rise. But Stoic leadership focuses on process, ethical consistency, emotional restraint, long-term resilience, personal discipline. Machiavellian leaders burn fast, Stoic leaders endure. The question is not which one is correct. The question is, what kind of pressure can you survive? The psychological price of Machiavelli. Here is the cost no one mentions. When you constantly optimize how people perceive you, how situations benefit you, how power shifts around you, your mind never rests. You become hyper-aware, hyper-strategic, hyper-defensive. Even intimacy becomes a negotiation. Even love becomes a positioning problem. And slowly you stop being present. You start managing life instead of living it. The psychological price of Stoicism. But Stoicism also has a hidden risk. If misunderstood, Stoicism can become emotional disengagement. Men start calling avoidance detachment. They start calling emotional withdrawal discipline. They start calling isolation self-mastery. Real Stoicism does not disconnect you from life. It trains you to engage without emotional slavery. The answer nobody expects. So, which one should you follow? Here is the real answer. Not Machiavelli, not Stoicism, but a controlled integration. Use Machiavellian systems. Use Stoicism on yourself. Apply Machiavelli to strategy, career positioning, negotiations, influence structures. Apply Stoicism to your emotions, your attachments, your reactions, your self-image. Never reverse these. The moment you start using Machiavelli on your inner world, you become emotionally manipulative with yourself. The moment you start using Stoicism on power games, you become strategically naive. The quietly dangerous men, the most dangerous men in any room, are not cruel. They are emotionally calm and strategically intelligent. They do not react impulsively. They do not seek validation. They do not need to dominate conversations. They understand positioning, but they are not psychologically dependent on outcomes. This combination is rare, and this is exactly why it works. A final question for you. Let me ask you something personal. Right now, are you trying to control life, or are you trying to control yourself? Because most men choose one path, and then spend years wondering why the other half of their life feels broken. Some men try to control life. They try to control outcomes, control how people see them, control how women respond, control opportunities, control respect. They calculate every move like a chess player terrified of losing a piece. But here's the hidden cost no one talks about. When you try to control everything outside of you, you slowly lose control inside of you. You become reactive, hyper-alert, suspicious. Power without peace becomes paranoia. You start overanalyzing every delayed reply, every shift in tone, every opportunity that didn't go your way. In New York, James builds his career obsessively, micromanaging every detail, yet he can't sleep at night. In London, Daniel dominates meetings, commands, rooms, but feels threatened the moment someone challenges him. Externally powerful, internally fragile. Because control over life is unstable. It depends on variables you do not own. Now look at the other side. Some men retreat inward. They focus only on peace, meditation, acceptance, detachment. They say, I don't care what happens. But deep down, that isn't peace. It's avoidance disguised as wisdom. Peace without positioning becomes stagnation. You feel calm, but stuck. Centered, but invisible. Grounded, but going nowhere. In Manchester, Michael avoids risk to protect his energy. But 5 years later, nothing has changed. In Sydney, Olivia respects the calm man until she realizes he has no direction. And attraction fades, because life does not reward passivity. It rewards directed calm. Here's the truth most men never integrate. You are not meant to control life, and you are not meant to escape it either. You are meant to master yourself so that you can position yourself powerfully within life. Control your reactions, control your discipline, control your standards, control your attention. But then act, move, position, lead. That's the balance. Calm nervous system, strategic ambition, emotional control, decisive movement. When you control yourself, life becomes less chaotic. When you position yourself, life begins to respond. So ask yourself again, are you exhausting yourself trying to dominate outcomes? Or are you hiding in comfort while calling it inner peace? The real path is integration. Power anchored in peace. Peace strengthened by direction. That's the man who becomes unforgettable. Your practical rule going forward. Here is your rule. When dealing with people and systems, think like Niccolò Machiavelli. When dealing with your mind and emotions, live like a Stoic, like Marcus Aurelius. This is not philosophy. This is psychological survival in the modern world. Because the world outside you does not reward innocence, and the world inside you does not tolerate chaos. When you deal with people, you are not dealing with pure logic. You are dealing with ego, status, fear, desire, insecurity disguised as confidence. Machiavelli understood something most men refuse to accept. People respond to perception more than intention. It doesn't matter how good you are. It matters how you are positioned. In London, Daniel works harder than everyone else, but the promotion goes to the man who understands influence. In New York, James is talented, but the one who controls the narrative controls the room. Thinking like Machiavelli does not mean becoming manipulative. It means becoming aware. Aware that power dynamics exist. Aware that incentives drive behavior. Aware that respect is engineered through positioning, not requested through kindness. It means asking, who benefits? Who fears loss? Who holds leverage? What perception am I creating? That is strategic awareness. But here is where most men fall apart. They learn strategy, but they never learn self-mastery, so their ambition becomes anxiety, their awareness becomes paranoia, their drive becomes desperation. That's where the Stoic comes in. When dealing with your mind and emotions, live like Marcus Aurelius. Control what you can, your reactions, your effort, your discipline, your standards. Let go of what you cannot. Other people's opinions, random outcomes, timing you don't control. The Stoic man does not suppress emotion. He regulates it. When Olivia pulls back, he doesn't spiral. When a deal fails, he adjusts instead of collapsing. When someone disrespects him, he responds with precision, not ego. Because inner stability is power. Machiavelli teaches you how the external game works. Marcus Aurelius teaches you how not to lose yourself while playing it. Strategy outside, stability inside. Without Machiavelli, you become naive. Without Stoicism, you become unstable. And in the modern world, corporate politics, dating dynamics, social hierarchies, digital reputation, you need both. This is not about being cold. It's about being calibrated. Calm nervous system, sharp awareness, measured action. Think strategically, feel deliberately, move intentionally. That is not philosophy. That is psychological armor. And if you can integrate both, you won't just survive the modern world. You will move through it with quiet dominance. If this video made you pause, even for a second, if something in your chest tightened because you recognized yourself in it, then don't let that awareness fade the moment the screen goes dark. Subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below. Which one do you struggle with more? Control or calm? This isn't just engagement. This is self-confrontation. Because most men won't answer that question honestly. They'll say, I'm balanced. They'll say, I'm working on both. But when you look at their lives closely, you see the truth. Some are addicted to control. They monitor everything. They overthink texts. They rehearse conversations in their head. They obsess over status, perception, outcomes. They think they're being strategic, like Niccolò Machiavelli. But without inner discipline, strategy turns into anxiety. Awareness turns into suspicion. Ambition turns into fear of losing. Others hide inside calm. They say they're at peace. They say they've let go. They quote Stoic lines from Marcus Aurelius. But in reality, they're avoiding risk, avoiding confrontation, avoiding responsibility. They are calm because they are not moving. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you over-control, your nervous system burns out. If you over-calm, your potential fades out. The real battlefield is not between Machiavelli and Stoicism. It is inside you. It's in that moment when someone challenges you publicly. Do you react emotionally or respond strategically? It's in that moment when a woman pulls back. Do you chase to regain control or stay grounded and let reality unfold? It's in that moment when opportunity appears. Do you hesitate in comfort or move with disciplined courage? Every day, life presents these micro battles. No one sees them. No one applauds them. But they shape who you become. And the man who integrates both, sharp external awareness and unshakable internal stability, moves differently. He doesn't try to dominate everything. He doesn't retreat from everything. He calibrates. Strategy in the world, stillness in the mind, decisiveness in action, restraint in emotion. That's power. So before you leave, answer honestly. Control or calm? Where do you lose yourself? Because awareness is the first step to mastery, and mastery begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. Drop your answer below. And with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.